everybody, and welcome back once again to Let's Play Motorsport Manager with the Phoenix Knights racing team. In the last session we were in Japan where Sundin got another race victory. Back-to-back race victories, fastest lap to boot, Valdez getting third place, 2 podium finishes. It was not too shabby, it must be said. So we look to continue our forward motion. We look to keep that momentum going, and we're looking to do Dubai. Today we're racing in Dubai, looking to continue the trend of podium finishes. So to help us on our merry way, we are improving the car. Yes, we are improving the performance of the rear wing and the brakes, as well as the reliability of both said parts, because the next race is a crucial part, is both the rear wing and the brakes. So those are the parts that we're going to focus on as a priority. See how that turns out. And in the meantime, we are designing a new gearbox, which will be usable because these two currently aren't. And then we'll probably actually design another gearbox straight after, so that both drivers can have an upgraded gearbox before we move on to other parts as we progress through the season. In our headquarters department, 3 more days to go until we get 2 new brand spanking new buildings, so we look forward to that. And we've lost a bit of team marketability because, rather foolishly, after getting 2 podium finishes, what did the interview focus on? Not your epic strategic calls, not the grittiness and determination showed by our drivers. No, it was about my crappy brakes. Yes, marvellous. So I had to either take a team marketability hit or tick one of the drivers off, so I took one for the team. Don't you just love the interviews in this game? There is a political vote, so let us have a look what it says. Last place bonus payments. The 10th place team is giving a small cash injection at the end of each race in order to allow them to catch up to the other teams. This will benefit low ranked teams, and it's nice not to see our name amongst the lower echelons of the series. I'm not in last place, therefore I'm going to be selfish. I am going to use 1 voting power for a change instead of abstaining all the time, and I am going to vote against it. Because why? Why give teams at our bottom of the table a cash boost? I've never had a cash boost in my entire time across both series, so why should other teams get that benefit? We've had to grind our way up just through sheer force of will, bit of shrewd business. It's doable if you know what you're doing. So no hand-me-downs. Off we go. Let's see if anybody else votes against it. I think this could be a close one. This could be a close one. Let's skip to the end. Look at this. Oh wow, it's been pushed through. It's been approved. It's not really going to make a difference to us personally because the team placed in 10th position. They're not going to get a massive amount of money, and it probably would take a lot more than that to improve their fortunes. But it's just the principle of the matter, isn't it? Okay, so that's gonna tick over next season. And we are done. Look at this. Everything happening today. This is a day of action. The headquarters is finished. The car part is almost finished. 10 hours time. It's all kicking off today. Today is the day. Oh, 27th of June. Mark in your calendars where things took an upward turn. Okay, so here we go. Our headquarters went from kind of average to the second best. Yet we still lack on the design front and in the factory front, because they are only level 2, and I'm imagining that a lot of the teams in this series probably have level 3 design centre and level 3 factory. Guess where my next upgrades are going to be coming? Possibly across those 2 buildings. However, unfortunately at this moment in time, it's going to cost a whopping 15 million to upgrade these buildings. That is a lot of cash that I really don't have. So yeah, we're going to have to now save up until we can afford probably not both, but one. And if we have to pick one, the factory's better because you get extra part development staff and extra part improvement slots. So that is the next building once we have enough coin. Right then, although the front wing can be developed now, and I'm wondering if that's possibly going to be a building that we should upgrade as well. The wind tunnel, how much is it? In fact, I don't even know if we have it built yet. I don't think we do, actually. No, 7 million. Okay, we'll bear it in mind. But no buildings for now. We are focusing on the parts. Okay, so we have a new gearbox. We have a new gearbox. It's not yet in a condition where we can use it. 70% on the brakes, on the 76 there. I'm waiting to see if we can get it to around about 80%. That would be good. Although if we want to use this gearbox, we're going to have to put some effort into it. And alternatively, we need to also build another one. Build another. Let's have a look at the gearbox that we just currently built. Let's just take a quick peek at it. Has it got that old... So it's 487519. Okay. Okay. La 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 la. Yes, it'd be the same gearbox. I mean, ultimately, you could argue why build two of the same. It could give both drivers a boost. It's not really going to benefit us next season. It's purely for this season because we actually have a gearbox that's better than this that we could take forward to next season. So it's just to try and give our drivers equal chance. But should we perhaps focus on another part? Argument being that Val doesn't do very well, so should we just... I feel so bad for saying this, but should you just leave him with the weaker gearbox and move on to the next part? To give Sundin the best chance to win the title? These are all questions you've got to ask yourself. All questions that are valid questions. We're already halfway through the season. We're not going to have enough time to design every single part from this point going forward. Should we maybe focus on real front wings that have not been developed at all? At least we've got one gearbox now. Trouble is, our next front wing is not going to be very good to start with until we can unlock the second tier, which we will then use that one. 424461. So it would be an improvement, actually. It would be an improvement. Do you know what? It'll probably be quicker as well. Yeah, 7 days. And it's going to come almost reliable enough to use straight away. So I think actually we're going to go for a front wing. I think the die has been cast. Front wing time. New front wing. There we go. Okay, so we'll go for another... till day, I think, for another 3 days with the reliability. Okay, that should do us. Right, what have we got now then? So, yes, we have 71 and 78. What do we got here? 68 and 70. I mean, they are crucial parts, but could we do without them? Could we do without them being above 70? 78 is pretty decent now, isn't it? That's pretty high. So we forget that, and then we start working on that gearbox that we've just built. Get that as high as possible. Go a little bit longer on the other three. When they get to maybe 75, just take them off one by one. That seems to... that could work. That could work. That could work. Let's just quickly pause that. And Kanjiro is hated by his own mechanics. Just hate it when that happens. Right, 60... Actually, it's already up to 65. That's pretty good jump. Pretty good jump. 75, 76... 77. That kind of works for me. Let's just take them off now. Let's just take them off. Maybe a bit of performance for a change as well. We have a new front wing about to come. There we go. Front wing's finished, so what we'll do is we will improve the front wing as well now. Just give it a touch. Give it a touch up. So that's going to have to now take it down this way again. And we need to do that new part. Yes, we do. Right, okay. So another front wing, please. So we'll go there. And then we shall go there, like that. And look at that, we've got a decent part there as well. Right, that's good, that works for me. That works for me, we're improving the front wing very nicely. Okay, so we need to fit some parts, don't we? We need to fit some parts. What do we need to do? We need to fit some parts. So what are we going to do here? We have a better front wing, and not at the moment though, it's not quite at its full potential, but it is an upgrade. So what we'll do is we'll give old Valdez a slightly improved front wing, with the potential to get better, but we'll give Sundin the better gearbox. I'm going to give the slightly less better gearbox to Valdez. Yeah, that works. So I think at this point now, Sundin probably has slightly the better car. Not massively, but slightly. Which is only right, to be fair, because she is the one leading the charge. So we'll just check that everything is A-OK with both cars by checking that individually. So all the reliability, we're working on that, 67, that's fine. Everything else is above 70, quite comfortably above 70, so that should work pretty nicely. With 4 upgraded parts, 1 average, 1 great and 2 goods. Sergio Valdez, working on his front wing, he pretty quickly, needs a bit more work, but everything else is above 70%, and he's got 2 average and 2 great. So yeah, fairly even cars across the board really. 56, 67. I think what we'll do now is we'll take that off and give Valdez front wing the full attention for the last 3 days to just boost it up. Hopefully another 10% or so. Okay, and we are ready. We are at race weekend. Let's take one last look then. How did it go? Up to 80%. Look at that. Look at that. Nice little boost towards the end. And, yeah. Although her gearbox is now at 67, which is, I think it's doable. It's not a vital part here anyway. So, right, yes, good stuff. The car has been worked on. We've got a couple of new parts added. Let's see how that stacks us up against the rest of the players in this series. We're still in 7th place overall, 7th best car on the grid, but we're looking a little bit better. Not massively, but a little bit. We're making slow gains. It's a slow race, is this development business. It's a slow burner. So finally then, a very quick meet the team. We didn't do it last time, but I'm intrigued as to see who our nearest rivals are. Have we seen Chariot? We're seeing them now. I mean, they're a pretty strong team. Fiore, their lead driver. I mean, those stats could be frightening. Could be average, could be frightening, but we know, we've seen how good she is. Vidal is also doing pretty well. He's got very high overtaking and fitness. He's got everything else pretty good across the board. No real weaknesses in this man. He's very, very consistent. And their reserve driver, even the reserve driver is pretty decent. Look at that. Their lead designer, 4-star. Yeah, okay. I mean, I think this was a team that got relegated from the Formula 1 series, the World Championship, so they're going to have a decent team, aren't they? Although we found a bit of a weakness there. Race mechanic. Could be better. As could she. So they're lacking a little bit in the staff department, but the car is the best on the... No, second best on the grid, excuse me. Their drivers are the 3rd best. The headquarters is 3rd. The sponsors are pretty good. So, not so bad a chassis. 2.5 stars across the board. To be fair, if they didn't have a good car and good drivers, they'd be an average team. Could say that about a lot of teams, couldn't you? Right, anyway, so there you go. That's the Chariot Motor Group. We know who they are. We've been racing wheel to wheel with them for a few races now, so it shouldn't be a surprise. Anyway, the usual things apply. 7th or above for the sponsorship. It's going to be a dry race. Would you expect anything less in this part of town? No, you wouldn't. The parts have been fit. So, as per usual, see you in qualifying. Alright, so practice has been done and dusted. Well, look at that. Look at that. Of course, we know practice times that don't really dictate the true pace of the cars, but I must admit I'm pleasantly surprised. What we did is we managed to max out the race trim and the super soft tyre performance pretty quickly due to managing to set the cars up almost straight away. And therefore we had a bit of time towards the end of the session to focus on qualifying trim and the soft tyre. So I decided to send both drivers out on the harder compound, but with a lighter fuel load, obviously for qualifying trim, and also allowed them to push the engine mode and push, and they managed to storm around and get a relative super hot lap in. 1.3 seconds faster Sundin than Chariot. I don't expect that to happen in qualifying anywhere near. But it was nice just to set the track alight in practice for the few fans that turned up, including Lucia Delgado Lopez, who loved her tour of the headquarters, and we gave her some free tickets to this weekend. So let's hope that we can put on a show for her. Bless her. 7th or above is the objective. I reckon Sundin can get there. Valdez probably can't. It's going to be a dry track in qualifying. It's going to be a dry track in the race. There's no variable weather conditions that are going to help us here. Super overtake mode available to us. I wonder if that will be used in qualifying, because that would be a massive boost for Sundin if you can use super overtake mode in qualifying. It would be immense. Right, okay, that's fine. So the car setups, Valdez getting a slightly better setup as far as I can remember. Sundin at 95%, we'll see what Valdez is at. Of course, the super soft tyres for qualifying. No surprise there. He's at 95 also as well, actually. So it's a very same setup pretty much. So there you go. Okay, yeah, let's see what happens. Can Sundin use that overtake mode? We're going to go for a slightly different strategy. Normally we send them out pretty soon after the session starts to get a banker lap in. We will be putting 2 laps in, but we're not going to go out so soon. We're going to wait for most of the cars just to filter out, then we'll go out for our first banker lap. We'll wait for this clown to go down the drive. And then we'll send Sundin out. There we go. So we'll send her out now. So she's going out first. And she's going out on the old super soft tyres. Hey, ay. Right, let's have a look at old Valdez here. Anybody blocking his path? No. Yeah. Don't worry, Valdez, don't worry. Just hold your horses. Just waiting for a few cars to get out, so should maybe get you in a bit of a gap. Cars filtering. We'll wait for him to filter out. There's plenty of time, Valdez. Don't get too bloody fussy here. Don't get too fussy. We have to manage you a bit more effectively because you're crap at qualifying this season. Right, go. Okay, so Sundin is the first one. We're just going to check if she can use her super overtake mode. I don't think she can. She's overheated the brakes massively. Perfect with the tyres though. And she is, look at that, she does have use of super overtake. It's on purple, which means she's using super overtake for her qualifying lap. This could be a massive boost. Who needs qualifying trim when you've got super overtake? She's fastest in the first sector, but I think no, she's not the first one to set a lap this time. She is actually bona fide faster. That's a Chariot racing car, so they shouldn't slow us down. They should be faster than us. As she sets a second sector time that is 0.6 faster than Fox's. Maybe that pace that we saw in practice wasn't a facade. She's faster. She's faster than Fury. She is 0.3 faster than Fury. As I knock the desk. Holy cow. Go on, Sundin. Right, Valdez. He's not massively far behind. He's 0.4 slower than Sundin. which would put him in the top 7. Although the second sector is now second behind, but he was in traffic there temporarily. Which is disappointing. He's probably going to end up about 1.4 seconds down. 1.5 is a massive difference. That is a massive... He usually qualifies about half a second slower than Sundin, so something must have gone awry there. Something must have gone awry, but Sundin, thundering Sundin, she is turning on the style, man. She is turning on the style. We've given her a better gearbox and she's loving it. Combine that with super overtake and she has just absolutely flown around the track. Regularly qualifying 7th, 6th at a push. She's just jumped right up to be a contender for pole position on a dry track. There's no gimmicks here. There's no changeable weather conditions that we're trying to take advantage of. This is pure pace. Sundin has upped her level even further. Didn't even think it were possible. She's already driving a stormer of a season. She is now just turned up the juice. Right. The track is relatively quiet right now. She wants to go out again. Look at her. She's eager. I can go faster, she says. Let me out. Let me at them. I can go faster. It's actually Valdez we need to be more concerned about, because his time at this moment in time is considerably slower than his teammate. That must have been something wrong there. There must have been something wrong. Right. Go. This is it. Moment of truth. Valdez, giving you a fresh set of boots. You've got to improve that time. You've got to improve it. You've got to go faster. Right, Sundin's going out also as well. She's just going to try and better her time just to really put the marker down here. Just to really put that marker down, well and truly. Okay, so off with Tootle again. I'm wondering if that super overtake mode gives us such a massive performance boost. Is it worth considering that for the race rather than the 15% bonus? I don't know. I don't know. It does wear your parts out quicker, but our parts are getting up there now to be quite reliable, so I think that's probably better to use that when you don't have the maximum performance on your tyres due to interchangeable conditions in practice or something. If you're not going to get like that 15% bonus on your tyres, and maybe super overtake would be better, but I do think 15% performance across the whole race is probably faster in the long run. As Valdez now crosses a line for his hot lap, this has to be it. There's not an iota of traffic in front of him. He's got to make this count. He has got to make this count. Come on, Valdez. If there's ever a time we need you to switch on, it is now. He's almost 4 tenths down just in the first sector alone as Woodford goes second fastest. Sundin hasn't beaten her previous best on her first sector, but she is in clear air though. Valdez, second sector, is a second down in the second sector. I don't think he's going to better his time here, and if he does, it's only going to be by a tenth or two. It's not. Fox is gaining on Sundin. As Valdez crosses the line, he has bettered his time. It puts him into 13th, but he's still a whopping 1.3 seconds down on Sundin, who crosses the line. I think she went. I don't think she went quicker. I don't think she went quicker. Or did she? It matters not. The fact of the matter is, everybody has crossed the line. There's nobody in a flying lap. And Sundin has qualified in pole position, folks. Mark this down. Sundin has done almost the unthinkable. With a car that is 7th best on the grid, she has racked it round this track and put it on pole. Absolutely unbelievable. So the grid, we'll take a look at the grid properly when we are just outside the race. Decent qualifying session today. Decent, love? Don't be humble about it. It was magnificent! And she's loving it, the support of her fans. She's got a growing army. A lot of fans probably sympathetic to her after last season. She was looking so comfortable to win the title. Probably felt a little bit sorry for her how it all happened. But and she's, her calm nature, not rising to any bait, just maintaining that lovely calm demeanour. I'm sure it's won her a load of fans. I'm sure it has. A lot of Sundin converts. And Valdez becoming public enemy #1, if only for that horrendous hairstyle. When is it going to go? Right, this is the question. This is the question. Do we go Old Faithful here, or do we like do something like that? I think we've got to go secure and safe. We know what Sundin's like. She doesn't like to take any unnecessary risks. That would be a risk to her car performance, to her car reliability. Sorry. So I think she's just going to go for the old safe option. Right, strategies. I completely forgot to see how many laps were in this race. 18 laps. It's a relatively short track. It always makes me wonder if we should be one stopping or two. I think two stopping is safer. Sundin is at the head of the field, got the pace by the looks of it, so there's no reason why we can't actually pull off a two stopper with her. I think two stopping is the way to go here. We have the tyres for it, so they can do 9 laps. Wow, they could actually one stop on a set of softs almost. Set of super softs. This is an interesting concept. This is an interesting concept. I hate this kind of race length. I hate it. It's just you could do one stopper, you could do two. It's not quite so sure. I mean, this could comfortably do a one stop. Jeez, Louise. Right, we're gonna go. This could be. If this better not be a mistake. We're gonna go for the old two stopper with Sundin. If everybody else is one stopping, she's gonna at least be light fueled, and she might be able to make it work. But we'll see what happens. Bit of pushing, she should be all right. Valdez, what do we do with Valdez? Because he's way down the field. He's gonna find it hard to come through the field if our opponents are one stopping. And we put him on a two stopper, he's not going to benefit from that strategy because he's going to be stuck in traffic and it's going to really hinder him. So do we actually try a one stopper with Valdez? Trouble with Valdez, I think it's the tyres. I don't think Valdez is going to make the tyres last. Nowhere near. I think these are going to go off around about lap 8. So I think, you know what? I think it's going to have to be a two stop across the board. Unless we use a harder tyre, which we don't have the performance boost for. So we'll go a lap. Let's go a lap longer. A slightly longer first stint for Valdez. So we'll do 7 laps with Valdez to start with. See how it pans out. We could convert that into a one stopper with a long second stint if we notice something in the race that wants us to change our mind. So that just makes it a little bit more of a variable strategy, possibly for Valdez. Play it by ear. The play it by ear strategy. Right, the temperature should be pretty hot here, so we really can't afford to push on the tyres too long because they're going to overheat. And we don't have the best tyre heating for our chassis. Sundin on pole. A great lap. Molly Fox eventually improving her time to be only 600ths down on the pole position time. Woodford, he's a pretty good racer, Woodford. He's always up there. Few reliability issues has prevented him from getting as many points as he should have got. Fiore, we know about her. She's going to no doubt be a factor in the race. Navarro, Esprit, Vidal qualifying in 6th. Another danger. Sabado in 7th. Kanjiro, and then we're just getting down to the poor lower echelons here, including Valdez, who never qualifies well, but always seems to bring it back in the race. Let's hope that's the case today, but we shall focus on Sundin because we want her to get off to a flyer and control this race from the front, which is what she does best, and she is off to a great start. Off she tootles, goodbye, she says, and she's off and racing. And Valdez is in 12th. As he's overtaken somebody already. Good start for Valdez as they now put their foot down. Molly Fox is going to be pursuing Sundin for some time, so she's just going to have to ensure that she maintains that calm demeanour, which I'm sure she will. Valdez is up to 11th. He's on the charge. This is exactly what we want to see, but that could be a sign that these cars behind us are fueled for the long run. We might have a lighter fuel load. We'll have to keep an eye on that. He's overtaken Zheng Hongzhuang for 10th place. I've got a feeling they're one stopping here. I really do. Right, Sundin, she's gone. She's over the line for the first lap and she's still in first place. And we're just going to turn matters down now slightly. and just let her control that pace, control the strategy. I've got a feeling that other people are going to be one-stopping, so we're going to have to put our foot down. Right, Valdez, he's up into 8th. We've got a crasher in Sector 1. The only possible way that this is happening is if they have got heavier fuel loads. Must be. It must be. I'm going to give him a bit more on overtake mode for now, because we need to get, if that is the case, we've got to get past as quickly as possible. Right, Sundin, we need her to cross the line. Don't forget, her gearbox probably can't take pushing throughout the entire race, so we've got to be careful. So we'll push for one more lap and we'll turn it down. Valdez, on the other hand, his car is a bit more up to speed with things in terms of reliability. Just going to turn it down to high now. I think we've just met a bit of a roadblock here in Marino. We're not getting past. And that is Vidal for Chariot right behind us. Not having a good race. Fiore's still in 6th, so she's not flying just yet. But there's a long way to go. Right, back in first place, Sundin has opened a gap up of 2.7 seconds to Fox, and she is just nicely in control here. Nicely in control. And the reassuring thing for us is their tyre wear is greater than hers. So I don't think these guys are one-stopping on the super softs. I really don't. I think we could be okay here. We could be okay. Unless they're going to put the Harley compound on for the second stint and really go for a long second stint. We'll see what happens. But for now, she is just in complete control. Just nicely driving. I'm going to turn it down now to medium. As Valdez is still stuck behind Marino. Opening up a gap to 10th place. Kanjiro not keeping up. We're going to turn this down. If you can't get past, there's no point in keeping it on. Burning through the engine and the gearbox. Look at the train that's forming here. Look at the train that is forming. It's all about the strategy. Maybe if we have a good pit stop or two, we might be able to leapfrog a couple of places. But look at that. 7th, 6th, 5th, all the way up to 4th in this train of cars. This race is not over for Valdez, but he's got a lot of work to do. He needs to improve his performance in qualifying. This is what is hampering him in the race. Look at that. If you let Sundin and you put your car on pole, you can control it from the front. Not stuck in the traffic, not stuck in dirty air, just loving life and living it large as we now come round. And this will be the last lap that she does on this first stint. So after she crosses the line now, we're going to put her up into overtake for a very fast in lap as we put her onto a second set of red boots. 12 laps of even on the soft tyres is a massive ask. If 10 laps or 9 laps might be doable. So if the other drivers go to around about lap 8, we might need to start panicking. But for now, we're going to go for a very standard 6-lap stint. The park conditions are okay. The strategy is just going to be balanced. So off she goes. Valdez, on the other hand, he's got 2 more laps to do. He's just going to make it. We can't really push with him now. I might convert Valdez. Still wondering if I should convert Valdez to a one-stop. It looks like Vidal has passed. I'm wondering if I should convert him to a one-stop, you know. Give it a try. I might try it. It's not really massive. It's not really anything majorly lost, is it? Because he's struggling right now. As look at that, Sundin pumps in a purple second sector, the fastest second sector of the race, but she's not going to complete her lap, so she won't get the fastest lap. But she's coming into the pits, as I almost think to myself, did I remember to pit her? I did, thankfully. As she comes in now, no mistakes, no mistakes, no mistakes, no mistakes. No mistake. There we go. She got good across the board, and she is now out of the pits and on her second stint. We have to keep an eye on the opponents. I think they're one-stopping. I really do think they're one-stopping, which means that we are not in the greatest of positions right now. But she is. Look at that. She's already on the back of Valdez. She's already pit stopped once, and she's already on the back of Valdez, who is coming round now, and he's going to have to pit, and I am going to convert him into a one-stopper here, because that's what I think the other cars are doing. So we're going to play a slightly different strategy for Valdez to see what we can achieve. We're going to go for the risky pit stop because we're going to need every ounce of second that we can get, every second, every millisecond to try and make this work. He's going to go for the long strategy. Get him out of the way of Sundin and see what happens here. This is where Sundin's going to need to get to clear this traffic. Come on, Valdez, get yourself in the pits. Fox is pitting now. I don't know if Fox is going to one-stop from here. It's a little... Well, Valdez is trying it, so I don't know why she wouldn't, but it just seems maybe a little bit of a push. Right, he's out. He can't really afford... He's going to have to probably also conserve the tyres at some point, but Valdez is... Look at that, he's come out in the wrong spot, right in the heart of traffic, which is exactly not what we want to see, but he doesn't have to stop again unless his tyres completely and utterly fall away. So, we'll just play a long game with Valdez. On the other hand, Sundin, she's just going around nicely, but still keeping an eye on the opponents, and there's still 10 laps after this one if they are trying the one-stopper. It's a little bit of a push, but it's not impossible, and some of them, who's pitting and who's not pitting, some of them are pitting, Marino's pitting, but these guys are still out. I think they are one-stopping, I really do, which means we're going to have to really get a shufty on. So Sundin has taken over somebody in the pits. Vidal is yet to pit. What'll happen is when these guys pit, they're going to have a slightly heavier fuel load than us, so that's when we're going to turn the engine up to completely and utter. We're going to go medium for now, conserve a little bit, because what's going to happen is when they come in for their pits and fuel to the end, we're going to have a significantly lighter fuel load, so we can really go overtake mode and push for about 3 or 4 laps before our second pit stop, and we should be able to come out ahead of these guys. Yeah, they're all going to be on heavy fuel loads now, so this is where we need to make it happen. This is where we need to put the laps in. We need to build a gap, and we need to pass Vidal for a start. This is going to be what makes or breaks the race for Sundin, because this is where we have the lighter fuel load, where we're going to make it count. To build a gap, you know, we need about a 25-second gap to be safe and secure, I think. I don't think that's unreasonable. So, bearing in mind that, look at the brakes are looking a bit shoddy. Get the flipping hell out of the way! Right, now, go Sundin, put your foot down, Sundin. We want 2 laps at least. 2 laps at least of you flying around this track to build a gap. I mean, Fox is probably going to have to stop again, surely. I mean, she's only 6 seconds behind, but I think it's these guys. It's like Navarro. He's got lots of tyre life there. I mean, I don't know if we're gonna make this work. I really don't. But Valdez is in 12th. I mean, this is not ideal for old Valdez here. It really isn't. Right, Sundin. She's still pushing. She's still going. She's still trying. Her pace is not bad. It's not marvellous. She's taking the strain. Molly Fox is absolutely on the charge, which makes me think that she's stopping again. If she had a heavier fuel load, she wouldn't be setting purple times, that's for sure. It's just that little, you know, it's just that uncertainty. It's just that uncertainty. Valdez moves up to 9th as people pit. So he might make this work, you know. He might make this work. He might be able to make this work. We'll keep an eye on Valdez, but it's Sundin who we're going to pit now just to be safe and secure that she's not going to run out of fuel. It's going to be touch and go. Her car's going to limp over the line eventually. Her car is going to limp over the line. Her pace is good this lap, though. Her pace is very good this lap. Could probably have got one more lap out of her, but it's better to be safe than sorry. I really do not know what the other cars are doing here. I really don't. We got a good stop. She's in 4th. We're going to have to now hope and pray that the cars ahead of us have to stop again, but I'm a little bit apprehensive that they do. Oh, we might have screwed her up here. We might have screwed her up. She had the pace. She had the pace. She qualified on pole, so she had the pace. Have we wasted that by not one stopping and trying a 2 here? As Valdez is in 9th. He's stepping ahead of him. I don't know about the other cars. Who's that? That is Ingledew. Tyler's going to have to stop again because look at Tyler's tyres. So Valdez is just beginning to make this work. Just beginning, but he still has to conserve them tyres. There's still a bit of a way to go, and the tyres are at 62%. He just can't afford anything silly. Let's have a look at Sundin here. She's still in 4th. She's catching up to Fiore, whose tyres may be shod at the end of this race. Fox's tyres are not going to last until the end. It's actually Navarro that I'm worried about. It is Navarro. He's on the slower tyre, but he has lots of tyre life left. He's 7 seconds ahead. He is the danger for this race. He is the danger. Sergio Valdez is defending 7th place, apparently. To be fair to him, he's not massively far behind Sundin. It's far enough. But it's all about conserving those tyres. As Fox does pit, we knew she would have to do. Her tyres were not going to last till the end of the race. No chance on earth. We have got far too much fuel in our tank. Far too much fuel. So we are 1 second behind Fiore. Even if we don't win this bloody race, we have to get past Fiore. We have to get past Fiore. A couple of the parts are looking iffy. Ignore the warning lights. 28%, 21% on the engine. Holy cow! That is looking bad. We are catching Navarro pretty quickly, but are we catching him quick enough? Engine 25. Oh, this is going to be touch and go. This is so touch and go here. As Valdez is in 7th place, he's 1 place off the points. He has to hope that somebody ahead of him is going to pit again, and I really don't think they are. I really don't think they are. His tyres are barely going to last the end of this race. What is happening here? We are really gaining on Navarro a rate of knots. The engine can't take much more punishment, but we need to turn it up to get Sundin past Fiore. Vidal is catching also behind us. We are gaining with every lap. We're going to have to risk it. Maybe not overtake, but we're going to have to push. We're going to have to push. This is going to be a grandstand finish. Fiore's tyres are just about going to last. We should have one-stop Sundin and we would probably have won this race comfortably. Her engine is knackered. She's catching up to Fiore, who is catching up to Navarro. Her engine is crying and screaming. We need to pass Fiore. We need to pass Fiore. Whether we need to risk it. We need to risk this. We need to go for it. You know what? Flipping hellfire. Go! Push! 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 Shut up! Just ignore the part. She's going! She's going! She's going to now attack! She's attacking Fiore! This is the final lap now! She's probably not going to win the race as Navarro's pulled a bit more of a gap out in front of us. I did say that I was fearful about Navarro. She has to get past Fiore. She has to find a way past. Oh, come on, Sundin! Come on! Come on! Come on, there's got to be a way past. There's got to be. It's going to be hard to pass. She's a very quick driver. We're giving her everything. We're giving her everything, despite the fact that the car is absolutely on the edge. She's pulling away. She's pulling away. There's no way we're going to pass her, I don't think, now. Oh. Ah, damn it! Oh my god! Third and 7th. See, Valdez had the right strategy. He had the one-stop strategy, but he just didn't have the pace. So I don't know what else we could have done with him. If we'd have two-stopped with him, he would have been in traffic, like I said, and it would have been even worse for him. But it was Sundin. She had the pace. She qualified on pole. She had the pace there, and if we'd have one-stopped, we'd have won this race. I'm almost confident, almost certain we would have won this race. If we'd have one-stopped, even if we'd have given an extra lap of fuel for the first stint, and gone on even on the harder compound for the rest of the race for like 10 laps, should have still won this race. Man, damn it! Who got fastest lap? Clutching at straws here. Who got fastest lap? I don't think it was Sundin. Although she did have the lighter fuel, so it might be. No, it was Sabardo, who finished in 18th. How on earth did that happen? Oh, right. Well, this could well be, I think, a first race win for Johnny Navarro. I suppose it's better that he won the race than Fiore. Limits the loss a little bit in terms of the amount of points that we have just conceded to Chariot Motor Group, who got 9 points this race. We only got 4, so they have gained in the constructors. Fiore's gained slightly in the drivers, but Sundin is still firmly in control. A little bit of a disappointment from a strategic point of view, because we certainly had the ability to win that race if we'd got it right. But Sundin, of course, always making the most of a bad situation. Potter's reputation has been sullied this season. There's been a few strategic blunders. That's what happens when the pressure's on and you don't have the best or one of the best cars in the series. The pressure gets to you and sometimes you make a bit of a faux pas. Right, so Valdez sticks on the same points. He's still on 11. Sundin up to 51. Fiore now moving up to second place with 29. She's still a long way behind Sundin, and she's going to have to hope that Sundin crumbles, because she has been very consistent as Sundin. Always on the podium pretty much. Not dropping too many points. She's keeping us in this race. Constructors' title, we've just lost a little bit of ground, but we're still 20 points clear. Halfway point of the season. Things are looking not too bad, has to be said. Phoenix Knights will not be pleased, I don't think, because we had the ability to win that. Anyway, never mind. You win some, you lose some. We lose 818,000 in that race. So we've seen the tables. We don't need to see them again. We're doing well. We should still be happy. We should still have a smile on our face because Sundin is still leading the championship. We are still leading the constructors. Things could be worse. We have a new sponsor offer, which will be nice. We'll see what that is. See what that's going to offer us. Yep, car condition, not very good. I don't want to listen to any interviews, thank you. No, don't care less. Don't want to have you slate us. So there you go. Next race is in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro. It is the second half now, the second half of the championship. It's a 14-race season. It's a very long one. They must have added races here, there and everywhere in the previous few seasons in the votes, because I think this is only supposed to be like, what, 11, 12 races, this championship? So it's a longer than normal Asia Pacific Cup. But we will continue to develop our cars best we can, and we will continue to do our utmost to ensure that Sundin wins this title, even if we don't win the constructors. Because I'm still after a couple of comments, I'm still umming and ahhing about whether or not I'm actually going to promote myself this season, even if we won the constructors. Because apparently the World Motorsport Championship is extremely expensive. So if we don't have a nice wad of cash in our bank, if we don't have a decent headquarters, or there's any sort of a risk involved that we're not going to make it, then it could be a detriment to us to get promoted straight away. So I'm still 50-50 about that, but for the time being all we can do is continue to do what we're doing now, develop the car and get some good results. So join me next time to see if we can make amends and make a better strategic call in the race. Till then, see you soon.